and welcome to the news at 10 on NTN News 24, reaching you live from Abuja. I am Nolene Ebel Ame. Let's begin with the headlines. National Economic Council moves to boost agriculture and encourage local production of small farm implements.
They're supposed to replace fuel-driven, petrol-powered systems and lower energy costs for farmers, improve irrigation access in off-grid areas, reinforce Nigeria's food security strategy.
Nigeria expresses readiness to host 2030 Commonwealth Games. Rivers State House of Assembly resumes sitting after 6 months of emergency rule. Minister of Interior inspects Data Personalization Center, declares end to days of long waits and passports backlogs. We begin the broadcast in the State House, where the National Economic Council is finalizing arrangements to ensure implementation of the Anticipatory Action Framework intended to protect vulnerable households and enable timely and dignified interventions for the riverine areas in Nigeria. This is one of the major outcomes of the Council's meeting at the State House. State House correspondent Musbat Wahab reports that the Council is also working out plans to encourage local production of small arm implements.
The 152nd meeting of the National Economic Council is certainly not one of the most attended, yet the discussions and resolutions are far-reaching under the chairmanship of Vice President Kashim Shettima. The rains are winding down for the year and the flooding about to peak. Fears are imminent again for Nigerians in the riverine areas and those along the riverbanks. The perennial challenge got attention of the Council as it received a briefing from the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, on the Anticipatory Action Framework, mainly to protect the vulnerable households across the country.
The objectives of the Anticipatory Action Framework include, but not limited to, protect vulnerable households, enable timely and dignified interventions before flooding peaks, focus on equity, ensuring no community is left behind, amongst others. However, Council resolved that the scope of the framework has to be widened in order to include more states and submit final document for ratification at the next meeting of NEC. Most importantly, Council has also considered the inclusion of measures that will be taken to ensure medium and longer term sustainable solutions that will prevent flooding or reduce the flooding rather than the shorter term non-sustainable solution.
Jigawa State Governor Umar Namadi presented a memo seeking federal state action towards addressing the challenge of cost of production aggravated by lack of access to affordable energy and fertilizer, particularly for smallholder farmers.
Meaning that opening the door, bringing in more players into the production of fertilizer, and through either giving incentives or so many. So the framework will come up, and that will show that by the time, it's a concept of demand and supply. The more players are in, it becomes more competitive, and therefore the likelihood of dropping the price of fertilizer is likely to happen. So that's exactly the concept we are asking for the mandate to be given to the Presidential Food Implementation Committee.
The Council moved a step up for solution as the Vice President led members to inspect samples of battery-backed solar power irrigation pumps proudly made in Nigeria by the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NASENI.
These pumps, they are supposed to replace fuel-driven, petrol-powered systems and lower energy costs for farmers, improve irrigation access in off-grid areas, reinforce Nigeria's food security strategy.
So compatible, it's not as big as these other ones.
NASENI assures the Council of its capacity to produce about 100,000 pumps of this type monthly. And so the Council resolved to notify the President on this towards working out more funding for the agency and support local production of the implements. From the State House, Musbah and Wahab, NTA News.
Thank you very much, Musbah. And now we take you to Rivers State, where the residents of Rivers State have converged on the Port Harcourt Airport to welcome Governor Siminalayi Fubara in anticipation of his arrival to resume duties as governor after 6 months of suspension due to the emergency rule in the state. Our correspondent Robinson Deratede is at the airport to bring us the unfolding event there. Hello, Robinson. What's the atmosphere over there this morning?
Nolan, the atmosphere today is just like what we experienced yesterday. You know, Rivers people, since the announcement of the expiration of the emergency rule, they have been anticipating the resumption of their governor. Yesterday they came out in full number to welcome him, but fortunately he didn't show up yesterday. And today at the airport is a large number of crowd that have come out to receive him. We are at the VIP wing of the airport, and outside the gate is a large crowd of people dancing and celebrating, and security personnel are there trying to put them in order so that there will be no security breach. The whole story behind this is that Rivers people are not interested in military rule or whatever name it may be called, and they are happy that civil rule has returned back to the state. I have with me the ambassador to the Netherlands, the former ambassador to the Netherlands, Ojin Buffer, who I'll be speaking with. Ambassador, sir, tell us, what does all of this translate to?
For us, it's a welcome development that we have got out of unfortunate 6 months period in our political history, where we think that our state had been dishonored. And the governor coming back today shows that we want to quickly reconnect to governance in the state. The last 6 months has been a serious setback to Rivers people. You can see the enthusiasm and anticipation of Rivers people to ensure that we have democracy back to our state. We want to welcome the governor because he has demonstrated a connection, touch with the people during the period that he has been in power as governor, and we want that to continue. And so that's the reason some of us are here to show solidarity and welcome our governor.
Now that peace has gradually returned, what would be your advice to the factions, the political gladiators, on how to sustain this present peace we are seeing today?
I think first is we have to put the interest of the state over personal interest, and I think at the core of this disagreement is the fact that individual interest is being placed before the interest of Rivers State. If it's we're true leaders and we understand what leadership means, we should understand that leadership is not about conquest, it's not about having everything by every means, it's about touching lives, it's about lifting people. That's what governance is about. And we feel that Governor Siminalayi understands that, he's done that, and the interest of Rivers State should be paramount.
Thank you. Pigs has gradually returned to the state, and everybody is hoping that this pigs will be sustained. Yesterday, the State House of Assembly also had its first plenary, and from their speaks shows that they are willing to work with the executive to ensure that all the dividends of democracy that have been lost to the 6 years of emergency rule is achieved again. I will give you the updates of other things, other events that will be happening around this area. Back to you, Nalin, in the studio.
Very well, Robinson, the right idea. Thank you so much for the update there.
Thank you.
Following the end of the 6 months state of emergency, expectations are high as residents look forward to political harmony and completion of ongoing projects that will meet the needs of the people. Gabriel Amonike, who spoke with some of them, brings us details.
Emergency rule was imposed in Rivers State in March this year, following a political standoff between Governor Siminalayi Fubara and the State House of Assembly. Now that the state of emergency has been lifted, residents say they are happy to see the governor return and welcome the development with optimism. Others are, however, cautious, noting that the political situation is still fragile.
We are very, very happy. Automatically, we never expect him back. But since as a Christian, I've accepted that peace, we also work with him.
We have really missed him though. Well, thank God he's back.
It's good as our governor is back to do other things and make sure other money that concern us, even the civil servants, let him settle them and make everything peaceful.
We are appealing that it is time to reset the affairs of Rivers State. We should forgive one another in the interest of Rivers State.
Government is continuity. It's not about who did and who did that. Go and renovate the health centers, go and renovate the school to give our people basic health care, give this good education in the state. Those are basically the government will focus and complete ongoing project in the state.
Some residents also commended President Tinubu for the proactive step in checking the political crisis. In Port Harcourt, Gabriel Amonike, NTN News.
In the meantime, Rivers State House of Assembly has resumed sitting after 6 months of emergency rule. Speaker Martin Amaewhule presided over the sitting where the House called on Governor Fubara to commence the process of coming up with an appropriation law for the remaining part of the year to address current realities. Nkiru Onyejesha has details.
Lawmakers are elected to be back. Speaker Martin Amaewhule soon walks in and plenary begins. There's only one item on the other paper, a motion moved by the House Leader, Major Jack.
Mr. Speaker, we should also be aware that Rivers State Executive Council needs to be fully constituted.
Other lawmakers call on Governor Fubara to send the list of commissioner designates for screening and confirmation.
To commend the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria for restoring democratic institutions in the state.
The Speaker summarized the plenary with a request to Governor Fubara to send the budget to the Assembly for the rest of the year.
The Rivers State House of Assembly will continue to abide by the terms of the peace pact between us, the governor, and all stakeholders for the interest of this state and of course for the good governance for their states.
All eyes are on the Assembly to fully resume amicable relationship with the executive for the state to move forward. In Port Harcourt, Nkiru Onyejesha, NTA News.
This is the news at 10 on NTA News 24. More stories when we return. Stay with us.
Feel the power of precision, engineered to perfection. Every component is crafted with care, and each design is meticulously tested. From concept to creation, our engineers push the boundaries of technology, seamlessly blending performance and sustainability with a deep commitment to African ingenuity. Introducing the CNG Boss, a remarkable achievement in engineering designed to operate on compressed natural gas, a cleaner and more sustainable fuel alternative. At Innocent Vehicles, we proudly lead the way in creating greener mobility across Africa. And it doesn't stop there. From SUVs to sedans, spacious buses to electric cars, Innocent offers a wide range of models designed to meet every need. Innocent Vehicle, the pride of African roads.
This is NTA News 24.
Thank you for staying with us. The National Assembly Joint Committee on Appropriations has reached an agreement with the National Economic Team towards immediate commencement of implementation of the capital component of the 2025 budget. At a meeting which resolved into closed door, both sides also affirmed earlier commitment with regards to withdrawal of circular issued by the federal government on the award of contracts. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
2026 is a couple of months away, and the National Assembly is expectant of another budget bill from the executive. This meeting between the Senate and House of Representatives Joint Committee on Appropriations and the National Economic Team is convened to look at pending issues like the implementation of the capital components of the 2024 budget, which is ongoing, as well as the state of the implementation of the 2025 budget, with particular reference to the capital components. The meeting adopted agreements reached at an earlier interaction between the economic team and the House of Representatives on the award of contracts for projects approved in the 2025 budget, which had been put on hold.
There are resolutions that has been reached with the executive, which include, number one, issuance of the authority to incur expenditure for 30% funding of the 2025 budgets. That's one. Number two, that the existing budget of 2024, we have to go all the way to December of 2025.
The 2025 budget implementation will commence as soon as possible, and AIE will be issued within 7 days after our discussions. That authority to inquire expenditure.
Members of the economic team in attendance include Minister of Finance, that of Budget and Economic Planning, the Accountant General of the Federation, and the Director General Budget Office. The meeting resolved into a closed session that lasted for about 2 hours, details of which were not made public. Elsewhere, the Senate Committee on Health, as well as that of FCT area councils, met with executives of the Association of Resident Doctors and appealed that the striking FCT resident doctors should resume work. The lawmakers promised to meet with the FCT minister for a quick resolution of the impasse.
I'm giving you my own commitment now. I want to plead with you now, before my distinguished colleagues. All of this right, give us the opportunity to discuss with them. Like me, I'm going to see the minister personally today, by the latest tomorrow.
Soon and very soon, we'll get back to Nigerians on our position.
The resident doctors in FCT declared an indefinite strike last week over what they called unmet demands. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
In other news, Nigeria has expressed its readiness, if granted, to host the Commonwealth Games slated for 2030, tagged Abuja 2030. Representing President Bola Tinubu, Chief of Staff Femi Gbajabiamila led a federal government delegation in a meeting to further convince the Commonwealth Sport Bid Evaluation Committee at the State House. State House correspondent Musbaudan Wahab reports.
I believe to support the bid. Nigeria is taking a step forward towards securing the hosting rights for the 2030 Commonwealth Games. Having hosted an edition of the All-African Games, FIFA Under-17 and Under-20 World Cups, as well as some continental championships, the Commonwealth Games remain one of the top global sporting events yet eluding the country. Similarly, no African country has ever hosted the Games, despite 22 Commonwealth countries on the continent. And with the support of other African member nations, Nigeria is facing India in the final stage of bidding.
The time has come for Nigeria, and indeed all Africa, to offer the warm embrace of her hospitality, the grandeur of her culture, and the passion of her people to the Commonwealth Games. Our bid is grounded in the conviction that the 2030 game in Nigeria will not only celebrate sport, but will also ignite a legacy of transformation across our continent.
I can assure you, we're ready, we're willing, we're able, and we actually want this.
Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Gbajabiamila, emphasized the characteristic aim of a Commonwealth as an umbrella of unity and diversity, which he says qualifies Nigeria for the hosting right.
Nigeria has set on this administration, particularly on some bold reforms to reposition sports as a strategic driver of national development. Our role within this family has always been clear, to stand for unity, equality, and progress. Beyond the infrastructure, which is very important in terms of your evaluation. So there's some intangibles that you can't even put your finger on. That is what you will find in abundance, apart from the infrastructural development, in abundance in Nigeria. You know, the people, their warmth, their hospitality.
Other stakeholders justified Nigeria's position as the country promises to partner the private sector and civil society organizations to ensure that every aspect of the Games meets international standard if granted.
Bidding to host the Commonwealth Games clearly aligns and is in tune with the vision of Mr. President to drive this vision. And we believe if we get the opportunity to host the Commonwealth Games in 2030, it will create so much massive positive for the country, not just in terms of sports, but in terms of infrastructure development and wealth creation.
This country has one of the biggest sports market in the world. As one of the biggest population of sport enthusiasts in the world. Beyond football, this is the time to be our friend, to support us. Let's have the Commonwealth Games here in Nigeria 2030.
We look at games now very, very different in relation to the bidding process, very, very different to what happened in the past in relation to the way these games were awarded.
Nigeria is slated to make presentation of a final bid slated for September 24 in London. From the State House, Musbah and Wahab, NC News.
Similarly, the 2030 Commonwealth Games Bid Evaluation Committee has raised the hopes of Nigeria winning the bidding war for Centenary Games. This follows the ongoing inspection of facilities and infrastructures at the Moshood Abiola National Stadium, Abuja. Austin Edemudu is monitoring the event for NTA.
The last time Nigeria made an attempt to host the Commonwealth Games was in 2007. 18 years later, Nigeria is back again with another bid to host the 2030 edition. These are the critical stakeholders, including the leadership of the National Sports Commission, the 2030 Commonwealth Games Bid Evaluation Committee, and the visiting members of the Commonwealth Inspection Team.
You will be convinced that Nigeria is really committed and is able, more than able, and have the capabilities and the possibilities to host what I will term the best games ever in the Commonwealth.
And we're really excited to see all the wonderful venues and just to see all the passion and all the people that have pulled together such an exciting proposition for Commonwealth sport and for Nigeria for the future.
And in hosting the Games, will create an avenue for 850 million young Africans by 2050 to be well positioned to do what they know how to do best.
This is the prototype of the proposed Games Village at the Moshood Abiola National Stadium, Abuja. Package A will host athletics, track and field events. Here is the International Broadcast Center being managed by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, as broadcast partners for the proposed 2030 Commonwealth Games in Abuja here in Nigeria. Of course, facilities and equipment here have been upgraded to that effect. The management of the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, led by the DG's representative, the Executive Director of News, Ayo Ademui, conducted the team around the International Broadcast Center. The inspection team also visited some training facilities as they continue with the assignment till Friday. In Abuja, Austin Edemodu, NTA News.
You're still watching the news at 10 on NTN News 24, reaching you live from Abuja. Let's take our second commercials.
Let's have credible elections at the local government so that these credible people can manage the funds of local government properly.
There are a lot of respected traditional rulers in the state who can say, look, enough of this thing. Mr. Governor, welcome. Thank you for coming. When you win, what will you do?
I was the first woman that mobilized women within the local government to form the National Council of Women Society by creating awareness in women that they must serve, they must be part of what is happening within their community.
If you stop expenditure on infrastructure, how do you now attract investments?
The state governors, the presidency, that the federal government and the local government are all waiting for revenue from crude oil. Everything has something peculiar. So the emphasis now, if your local government has something peculiar to that particular local government, the emphasis should be keep producing that particular product.
We need to do three things. Prevent the ability of the terrorist groups to generate funding, their ability to recruit, and then their ability to access weapons.
I actually like this way. Therefore, I sit in the front row in the church, or if I'm going to mosque and I'm calling the people are passing in God's own house. What am I doing? I'm mentoring a new generation who think that the only way to be taken seriously is to be seen to have a lot of money.
Nigeria, live every weekday between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. on the network service of the NTN.
Thank you for being there. Federal government says it remains committed to strengthening Nigeria's pension sector for social protection, inclusive economic growth, and as a catalyst for national development. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, stated this while inaugurating the Pension Industry Leadership Council in Abuja. Muhammad Rabiu Ali reports.
Nigeria's pension sector has come a long way from 2004 with dynamic reforms introduced to reposition it despite numerous challenges. This necessitates the need for a unified council to set direction, build trust, and safeguard the future of millions of Nigerian workers. While inaugurating the council members, the SGF believes that every Nigerian who labors today must be guaranteed dignity and security tomorrow.
The council must aim to expand the coverage to the informal sector by scaling up the micro-pension plan, designing incentives such as digital platforms, mobile payment integration, and tax reliefs to attract artisans, traders, and SMEs.
We will strengthen public confidence so pension remains a promise kept.
We are going to have an enhanced compliance because the decision is taken jointly.
At a media briefing, Director General Omolola Olowaroran announced a bold reform of Pension Revolution 2.0 under the Tinubu-led administration.
Under the CPS, the PFAs are not owing anybody. I mean, the government isn't owing anybody as well. All accrued rights have been paid up to September.
Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
In other news, the Minister of Interior says the days of long waits and passport backlogs are numbered. He gave the assurance while inspecting the Data Personalization Center at the Nigeria Immigration Service headquarters in Abuja. Victor Azu reports.
At the core of passport production is the Data Personalization Center, where biometric data is processed and security features are stamped in. For Minister Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, seeing the process up close was necessary to make sure reforms deliver real results.
We now have a system here that will bring an end forever to the era of backlog because production can be done at record time.
The minister says the new center will cut delays and restore public confidence in Nigeria's passport system. He insists technology and oversight must go together to deliver faster, smarter service to Nigerians at home and abroad.
We're doing about 250, 300 per machine per day. Today, the system that you've seen
does about 1,000 per hour. Within 4 or 5 hours of working, NIS can provide solutions to the demand of Nigerians.
With reforms picking up pace, the old bottlenecks of passport application may soon give way to efficiency, transparency, and trust. In Abuja, Victor Azu, NTA News.
Elsewhere, the importance of maximizing the flourishing relationship that exists between China and African countries in advancing an all-inclusive global community was the high point of a one-day seminar on Global Governance Initiative, GGI. Chikunonso Nwabweze reports that the symposium was held in Abuja.
Convened by the Center for Contemporary China-Africa Research and the Center for China Studies, this seminar is a convergence of international affairs experts who are here to explore paths and methods to improve global governance through the joint efforts of our countries and multilateral mechanisms in entrenching international rule of law as proposed by the Global Governance Initiative.
China has been and is always willing to cooperate, work with African friends, including Nigeria, under the framework of GGI to build a more just and equitable global governance system.
Nobody should dictate on no one. Let there be international rule of law that defines the rules that each and every state has to actually abide by.
We define who owns that international rule of law, who set it up, and why, and for whose benefit. So that may be the weakness of the GGI to graft on existing, almost illegal, international rule of law.
With the theme Opportunities for China-Africa Cooperation under the Global Governance Initiative, GGI, the seminar featured paper presentations on the need to position Nigeria as a future global player, opportunities under GGI, Africa's strategic role in shaping future global governance under GGI, as well as the principles of the GGI, foundations for an equitable global order. Chukunonso Nwabweze, NTN News.
The First Lady of Nigeria, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, has launched the Women Economic Empowerment Program under the Renewed Hope Initiative in partnership with the Tony Elumelu Foundation. The program, designed to empower 18,500 women nationwide, will see each beneficiary receive a grant of 50,000 naira to boost small businesses. Becky Greatman Chikuka reports.
Women from across Delta State gathered at Government House, Asaba, to benefit from the program. Representing the First Lady, wife of the Governor and founder of Yomato Charity Foundation, Deaconess Tobore Oboriwori, presented grants to 500 beneficiaries and further empowered another 500 women through her foundation, making it 1,000 beneficiaries in the state.
This economic development program is about supporting the entrepreneurial spirit of our women leaders and small-scale business owners who wake up each day determined to provide their families, educate their children, and uplift their communities. Let me emphasize that this is not a loan. It is a grant and a seed of renewed hope to help you recapitalize your existing businesses.
The Tony Elumelu Foundation supported the initiative with a donation of 1 billion naira.
I present this token to you on behalf of my dear mother, the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, with the love of God, with the name that's above every other name, in Jesus' name.
As part of the Renewed Hope Initiative, notebooks were also presented to local government chairpersons for onward distribution to students in their various councils. Special Advisor to the Governor on Women Development, Eunice Anyura, described the program as timely and urged the beneficiaries to use the funds wisely.
This initiative will help you build your capacity to generate income and resources needed to improve the quality of your life.
Beneficiaries expressed appreciation to the First Lady and Deaconess Oboriwori, pledging to invest the money judiciously.
I feel so very happy and honored. It's not easy. Out of thousands, I was able to
receive the package from them. May God bless them.
I want to say a big thank you to as many of them that remembered us again.
The Renewed Hope initiative is designed to empower women economically, promote entrepreneurship, and stimulate grassroots development nationwide. In Asaba, Becky Greatman Chukuka, NTA News.
Nigeria Customs Service National Single Window (NSW) project is gaining significant momentum, with key government agencies reaffirming commitment to the initiative. Let's join Vivian Ezadife for more on business news.
The project, launched by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in